How Manchester United have learned to defeat the Big Six. If we separate the Big Six into a standalone competition and remove all external factors from the rest of the Premier League, Manchester United emerged this season as the most formidable name. A record of 5 wins, 1 draw and 2 defeats from 8 matches against elite opposition, a goal difference of +13, and, crucially, a clear demonstration of their ability to deliver in big games. More importantly, they have beaten every single member of the Big Six: Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Arsenal and Tottenham, each in very different ways, ranging from deep defensive counter-attacks to matches where they imposed their authority and controlled proceedings. The 2 early season defeats did not drag them down, on the contrary. They helped the team become more pragmatic and mentally tougher, with big game performers like Bryan Mbeumo and the squad growing in maturity. Manchester United are becoming an opponent that no Big Six side wants to face. If we were to compile a separate league table consisting solely of Big Six fixtures, ignoring all external variables from the rest of the competition, one truth this season would be impossible to deny: Manchester United dominate that table. Numbers do not lie. 8 matches against Big Six opponents, 5 wins, 1 draw, 2 defeats, 13 goals scored, an output higher than most direct rivals within this elite group. More importantly, the list of defeated opponents is complete: Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Arsenal and Tottenham, no one missing. It is true that Manchester United lost to Arsenal in the opening round and suffered a heavy 0-3 defeat against Manchester City in September. But the paradox lies here. Those 2 defeats did not define their season. Instead, they became a stepping stone towards a more mature and pragmatic version of Manchester United as the campaign entered its decisive phase. United do not approach Big Six matches with a single tactical template. When required to sit deep, concede possession and counter-attack, they defeated Liverpool at Anfield. When asked to impose control and wear the opponent down, they dismantled Tottenham at Old Trafford in a one-sided contest. When resilience and grit were demanded, they overcame Arsenal 3-2 away from home in a match where every minor detail carried life or death significance. If ranked purely within a Big Six table, Manchester United sit high both in points and in their ability to make opponents uncomfortable. No team wants to face them in major fixtures, because no one can predict which method United will choose to win. This stands in stark contrast to several other teams within the group, strong sides whose playing styles are so clearly defined that once decoded, they become fragile. A key factor behind United's success against Big Six opponents lies in individuals born for the biggest stage. Bryan Mbeumo is the most illustrative example. 2 goals against Tottenham, 1 against Arsenal, 1 against Manchester City, 1 against Liverpool, and against Chelsea. A direct action that resulted in the opposing goalkeeper being sent off. This is not a random statistical streak. It is the hallmark of a player who thrives under pressure. In matches played at high tempo, in tight spaces where mistakes are punished instantly, Mbeumo consistently appears at the decisive moment. Bruno Fernandes remains at the center of every key moment, while the defensive line, though not always perfect, has shown the capacity to stand firm under sustained pressure. Of course, the strength of the Big Six is not always evenly distributed. Some teams decline due to injuries. Others suffer instability caused by tactical changes, while some start the season strongly only to fade later on. But that is a shared reality across the group. What truly stands out is how Manchester United have exploited every moment when opponents reveal weakness, while avoiding self-inflicted problems in major fixtures. At Old Trafford this season, a striking paradox has emerged. Manchester United may struggle against weaker opponents. Yet whenever they step into Big Six fixtures, they immediately resemble a reawakening former powerhouse. Behind tactical diagrams and statistical models lies an invisible weight known as the honor of Manchester United. The red shirt and the Red Devils crest still carry enough authority to force opponents to strain every nerve in major contests. That sense of pride is precisely what makes even in-form rivals approach Manchester United with caution. All of this has produced a version of United that may not be perfect, but is extremely dangerous when its self-respect is challenged. There exists a cruel yet fascinating paradox at Old Trafford. Manchester United can appear blunt and hesitant against lesser sides, but whenever they face the Big Six, they remain a genuine challenger. Pundits obsess over tactical shapes and dry statistical data in search of explanations. Yet they often overlook one invisible factor that weighs 1,000 tons: the honor of Manchester United. The Red Devils badge, even in the darkest periods, still commands supreme authority. It is not merely a brand, it is a curse of pride. That very gene forces weary legs to rise and fight to the death when the whistle blows for a major showdown. At that moment, players are no longer playing for tactics or wages. They are playing for the ego of an empire that refuses to be trampled. That invisible force is powerful enough to intimidate even the most informed opponents. Look at Arsenal, brimming with confidence and boasting a slick, well-drilled style, yet the moment they walk out of the Old Trafford tunnel, it is as if they are suffocated. In the first leg, Arsenal escaped with a narrow victory by the slimmest of margins. In the return fixture, a 3-2 defeat saw them completely swept away by United's aggression. The aura of Manchester United is enough to send a shiver through any opponent, no matter how strong. At the highest level, football is sometimes decided by symbolic moments. Recall Harry Maguire in the 3-2 victory over Arsenal. In one challenge, the former United captain all but lifted Gabriel Magalhaes and hurled him out of the danger zone. That was not merely defending, it was a warning. This is Old Trafford. Do not attempt chaos here. Or consider the emotional scene following the 2-0 win over Tottenham, when Casemiro, drenched in sweat as he left the pitch, rushed over to embrace Michael Carrick. That tight hug represented the passing of fire between two generations of holding midfielders. A shared understanding between men who know the true cost of wearing the red shirt. Ultimately, Manchester United may not yet be perfect, but when their pride is wounded, they become more frightening than ever. The secret weapon to decoding the Big Six does not lie in any tactical handbook. It lies in the badge over the left chest, where the heartbeat of pride has never stopped. Perhaps it is time to view Manchester United through a fairer lens. Their issues have never been solely about squad quality. When Michael Carrick took charge, he chose to unlock the existing value within the squad, and in doing so, exposed an intriguing reality. Many players previously dismissed as surplus or uninspiring have rediscovered vitality when placed within a suitable system. Carrick does not impose rigid ideology. He gives space to individuals capable of making a difference, turning tactics into a platform rather than a cage. What Manchester United currently need is belief placed in the right areas, belief that can transform a once criticised collective into an opponent the entire Premier League must respect. It is time we bravely acknowledge a truth. Manchester United's squad is not as poor as many have claimed. Yet complaints persist. There was a period when online forums were obsessively waiting for Ruben Amorim like a messiah, fueled by statements along the lines of, "I will elevate what I have." But when we look at what Michael Carrick is achieving with the very same raw materials, it becomes clear that lofty philosophies or complex back three systems are not always required. The Red Devils simply needed someone capable of unlocking the player's true value. Watching how Carrick operates this squad, it is difficult not to gently mock those who once demanded a complete demolition and rebuild. Where exactly is this squad weak? When under Carrick's guidance, players previously deemed past their prime or not up to standard suddenly undergo a revival. When the system is correctly aligned, it becomes apparent that Manchester United possess pieces capable of striking any heavyweight opponent. Football, however, is not merely about static numbers on a tactical board. Carrick's real strength lies in recognizing the latent class within each individual. Manchester United today do not play with a system above all else mentality. Carrick understands that for stars with strong egos, tactics are merely a launchpad. It is moments of individual brilliance that ultimately decide matches. United still need those trademark transitions, often jokingly described as Bruno's hit and hope passes, and Ahmed's unpredictable touches in tight spaces. Carrick does not confine them within narrow constraints. He grants them the freedom to be wild, but in a calculated way. These moments are not luck. They represent the release of world-class energy from players placed in an environment of absolute trust. It turns out that Manchester United do not require a dramatic personnel overhaul or blockbuster winter signings. The right pieces have been sitting in the Old Trafford dressing room all along. There is no need for a foreign architect armed with fanciful blueprints. Sometimes, all that is required is a skilled craftsman, Someone who knows how to awaken true quality and place trust in the right places, to turn a maligned squad into a genuine Premier League challenger. Under Michael Carrick, Manchester United are beginning to resemble a team that truly understands both itself and its opponents in the most practical sense. They do not chase superficial beauty. Instead, United have chosen a calm, disciplined approach, optimizing what they already possess. Stability within the core structure, trust applied correctly, and key individuals stepping up have allowed the team to rediscover a sense of tactical security long lost. Carrick is not obsessed with possession. He prioritizes structural integrity, waiting patiently for the right moment to strike. From organized defending and rapid transitions to ruthless exploitation of set pieces, Manchester United have become particularly dangerous in big matches. Know thyself and know thy enemy has never been a hollow slogan, and right now, it perfectly reflects Manchester United under Michael Carrick. Carrick's Manchester United have chosen a pragmatic, composed and highly disciplined path. Especially in major clashes, Carrick is fully aware of what he has at his disposal and, more importantly, understands how this team should play in order to win, not to entertain. The biggest hallmark of Carrick's tenure lies in his commitment to a near-fixed core structure. Instead of constant rotation in search of a formula, he has kept the components that function smoothly together. The centre-back pairing of Harry Maguire and Lisandro Martinez has gradually rediscovered its chemistry, operating as asymmetrical central defenders, while the fullback positions, Diogo Dalot and Luke Shaw, provide balance between defensive solidity and support in ball progression. That stability has produced something Manchester United have been missing for a long time, a sense of tactical security. Not the need for novelty, but the ability to execute the fundamentals properly. Carrick is steering United back towards that equilibrium. One decision that strongly reflects Carrick's "know yourself, know your opponent" philosophy is the way he constructed the midfield without any winter signings. There was no panic buying, no frantic patchwork solutions. United relied on what they already had, and it turned out to be the most logical answer. Casemiro brings experience, positional awareness and steel in big matches. Alongside him, Kobbie Mainoo is not merely a young talent, but is becoming a critically important tactical component. Mainoo helps United evade the press, link the lines and control tempo during transitions. Carrick's public vote of confidence in Mainoo has acted as an invisible psychological shield, freeing the young midfielder's mind. Playing with confidence, Mainoo genuinely elevates the entire system. It is also a clear statement that Manchester United do not need to look far afield. The solution may already lie within the academy. The major difference between Carrick's United and the previous phase lies in their approach to matches. Under Amorim, United often dominated possession but became fragile when losing the ball. Carrick has removed that obsession. United no longer insist on keeping the ball at all costs. Instead, they focus on maintaining their structural shape. Possession figures may be lower, but the quality of chances created is higher. The Red Devils are willing to concede territory to Manchester City or Arsenal, maintaining a compact low block with tight distances, forcing opponents to build in congested spaces. Only when the opposition push up and expose gaps do United strike decisively. The Manchester derby is a clear illustration. Despite having less possession, United sealed off central zones, isolating City's attacking threats almost completely. Against a desperate opponent chasing points, United remained composed. Even when Tottenham pushed the defensive line high, United restrained themselves, waiting patiently for the right moment to counter. Manchester United under Carrick are not only sharp on the counter-attack, they also know how to impose themselves. From a foundation of disciplined defending, rapid transitions have become Carrick's blade. The moment possession is regained, United immediately look forward with simple, direct passes. Bruno Fernandes is liberated in the number 10 role, acting as the creative hub for counter-attacks. The attacking players sprint into space within just a few touches, transforming defensive situations into goal-scoring opportunities in seconds. This style demands exceptional tactical discipline behind the ball, and United are currently maintaining that focus throughout matches. Alongside counter-attacking, United possess one of the most potent set-piece weapons in the league. Bruno's deliveries, Casemiro's movement and Maguire's aerial dominance are organized into clearly rehearsed routines. The goal against Tottenham is a prime example. a short corner recycled to the edge of the box and a composed finish. It showcased meticulous preparation in tense matches where chances from open play are limited. Set pieces have become the key to unlocking stalemates. Manchester United at present may not be dreaming of distant fantasies. They are a team that understands exactly who they are, where their strengths lie, and how they should compete. In a season full of volatility, that composure has become their most solid foundation. United may not be the most glamorous version of themselves, but they are the version that understands itself best, and sometimes that is enough to navigate major battles with a cool head and well-drilled set-piece weapons capable of deciding matches. Manchester United have demonstrated that they possess the character to confront and overcome the Big Six. Yet their journey upward still contains an unresolved problem: consistency against weaker opposition. Under Michael Carrick, United have rebuilt belief through major victories, not only in terms of scorelines, but through organized, purposeful approaches to matches. Those results have helped restore confidence, reignite a positive atmosphere at Old Trafford, and open up renewed appeal in the transfer market. However, league football is a long-distance race. It demands the steady accumulation of points, particularly in matches deemed must-win. Only when Manchester United can turn their current tactical platform into cold-blooded patience against low-block opponents will they truly reach the next stage of maturity. Beating the Big Six is impressive, but perfection requires the ability to collect points consistently against teams considered inferior. League titles are not won in a handful of high-octane showdowns, but in the capacity to convert routine fixtures into clean three-point returns. And yet, the paradox at Old Trafford remains fascinating: a Robin Hood figure, taking points from the powerful, only to drop them against the weaker sides. At times, this may even be a necessary stage in rebuilding deeper foundations. Under Michael Carrick, United are passing through exactly such a transitional phase. They have beaten Manchester City, mounted a comeback against Arsenal, edged past Fulham in dramatic fashion, and most recently secured a convincing win over Tottenham. 4 matches, 4 consecutive victories, a run of form fans have waited for across many seasons. But what truly matters is not only the results, but the manner in which United approach big games with the mindset of equals, sometimes even proactively laying tactical traps to finish off their opponents. Victories over Big Six opponents carry meaning beyond 3 points. They restore something United have lacked for years: battle-hardened belief. When a team trusts that its tactical structure can neutralize the league's most powerful attacking machines, collective confidence multiplies. A team only truly matures when it knows it can defeat the strongest opponents. Yet herein lies United's recurring paradox. They can perform like giants against elite sides, only to inexplicably drop points against teams in the lower half of the table. The Robin Hood image is therefore both romantic and painful. Romantic, because it proves United are not small. Painful, because championships are not decided on nights of blazing showdowns, but on the ability to impose control and concentration against deep defending opponents in seemingly ordinary fixtures. Viewed through the lens of belief and supporter sentiment, however, this Robin Hood phase carries positive meaning. Previously, United fans' faith relied largely on past glory. Now, that belief is being rebuilt on tangible evidence from the pitch. When supporters witness United shutting down Erling Haaland, suffocating Arsenal's midfield, or standing firm under relentless pressure, they begin to trust that this team possesses genuine tactical foundations rather than surviving on fleeting emotion. Carrick has delivered the most vital gift a manager can offer during a crisis: structure. United no longer play on scattered instinct. They understand when to drop deep, when to accelerate, when to stretch the pitch, and when to turn dead ball situations into opportunities. That organization is the prerequisite for solving the harder equation: imposing themselves against opponents who deliberately sit deep. To collect points consistently in such matches, patience and discipline are non-negotiable. Above all, a team must avoid self-inflicted errors. Beating the Big Six also opens another door for Manchester United: attraction. No elite player wants to join a club that only beats weaker sides but consistently collapses on the biggest stage. Once United prove they can compete toe-to-toe with the strongest clubs, retaining core players and attracting new talent becomes far more feasible. The atmosphere at Old Trafford is also changing. The stands are no longer weighed down by fear of mistakes. but are beginning to come alive with the sense that every match has a clear plan. Supporters can accept defeat if they see structure and fighting spirit, but they cannot tolerate perpetual chaos. By simplifying everything, Carrick has pulled United out of that mess. Of course, the road ahead remains the true test. Beating City or Arsenal gives you belief. Beating weaker sides consistently puts you in a title race. Transforming from an emotionally charged big game team into a cold, methodical points accumulator, that is the next step Manchester United must take. United are no longer living off isolated moments. They are gradually becoming a side with structure, identity and genuine belief in their own approach. When that belief spreads from the dressing room to the stands, Old Trafford will no longer be a venue to exploit, but a fortress in the truest sense. Only then will the Red Devils' true transformation truly begin. Manchester United have proven they are not inferior on the biggest stages. Indeed, they have become a benchmark of character for other elite sides. Football, however, does not allow any team to survive indefinitely on the emotions of marquee nights. The real challenge lies in converting rediscovered belief into a sustained winning habit. If Carrick and his players can maintain the structure, composure and discipline that have forged this fearsome Big Six version, Old Trafford has every right to dream of a longer journey, one in which United do not merely make noise, but steadily reassert their status through the cold consistency of a truly elite club.